right, so now when we first discussed this, and I mentioned going OCS, you immediately cut me off and said I would never go officer. Why was that your reaction?
It was more I didn't want to go to OCS. The officer world wasn't totally off-putting. It was going to OCS. I just know I didn't want to do it.
So what about OCS sounded so bad?
I already went through boot camp.
That's fair.
I did it 12 years ago now, but I didn't want to go back to that.
That's pretty common. I hear that a lot, especially from Enlisted folks. If you've been in and you feel established, you're like,
Yeah.
why would I put myself through that again?
Right.
And so what changed then? What changed your mind?
You asking me why not, and then me telling you why not, and you saying that's not a good enough reason.
It's not.
Not wanting to go to OCS physically was not a good enough reason. So it was really that conversation that just kind of like, I went home and I was like, he's right. You know, if this is something that I mean, going officer was kind of in the background anyway. I was looking at the warrant to LT path was going to try and be my plan. So I just kind of was like, he's right. Let's just do it. Let's do it now. Let's not wait to go warrant to LT.
Yeah, and you know, I don't spend all my time trying to go around convincing everybody to go officer. I don't feel like it is for everybody, but for someone like you who said this is something you want, I was like, that can't be the only thing in between you and your dream, going to officer candidate school. It sucks, but it's not that bad, all right? You know, so I'm glad you
To
made
be
it.
determined.
To be determined. We'll follow up on
Yeah.
this when you're finished and see. Well, perfect. I guess, was that the only thing holding you back, or were there other things that made you a little reluctant about wanting to go officer?
OCS was the biggest thing. I think anyone's kind of scared of a new challenge, so obviously there's a little apprehension in moving into something completely different.
Absolutely.
I think leadership roles on the enlisted side are very different, I'm sure, or from what I've heard, than leadership kind of roles on the officer side. But also, you know, I mean, I'm married with kids now, so I didn't want to leave, and then, you know, what if I go to a unit, then I'm leaving again a lot, so, or deploying a lot, so I'm comfortable. I was pretty comfortable in my career here on the enlisted side, so having that change and challenge and unknown was
fair.
Apprehension.
That's fair. That's fair. So to circle back, like when I just hit you with like, why not? Did that seem like an aggressive approach, or like what are your thoughts on me just flat out asking you that, like calling your bluff? Why not actually?
I thought it was awesome. It made me think, because no one's ever asked me that before. No one's ever, or I've said, well, I don't want to go to OCS. They're like, yeah, totally, me too. I went, like, no one's ever just been like, well, why not? And I was like, well, because I don't want to go. And you're like, that's the reason why not? Let's dissect this a little bit more. So yeah, it was awesome. So
shout out to Freddie Clay.
Yeah,
He's
it was
always
awesome.
my recruiting sensei. He's always preaching that like you should never speak to an applicant and just take that for their word, because all you're trying to do is extend that conversation.
well, let's practice what you preach. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
the same way working with applicants. I'm like, why not? Or, you know, having this discussion. So a little dose of my own medicine.
I love that. And so I guess I'll ask, I know you help people put together their officer packages. Now you put together your own. What was the biggest challenge for you through that process? Because it's completely different when you're on the other side of the table.
Absolutely. I understand applicant anxiety a bit more now, and like applicants kind of, you know, checking in and asking what's going on, and like, we got this, it's fine. But now I get it. Being on the other side and just having to wait, or, you know, wait for other people to do things. But so that part was, I understand the applicant side of it now a little bit more. Putting together the actual application, my narrative was hard, man. It's hard to tell your story. I mean, I feel like it's common in the enlisted or anyone to like brag about yourself anyway. So I think I rewrote that thing like 10 times
It's tough.
before.
It's tough.
I was
2
happy.
pages is not a lot to try
No.
to sell yourself.
No.
It's tough.
So,
Okay, well that makes more sense. And so I guess I'd say, I think your feelings on having that hesitancy from switching over is very common.
Mm-hmm.
I was once there myself when I was YM1. What advice would you offer others who are feeling the same thing? Like they've been told their whole career they're great officer material, they're thinking about it, but they just don't know if they want to apply. What's your advice to them?
I feel like if you're even thinking about it, you should take your shot, first of all. If you're already like considering it and thinking about it, like it's something that you want to do. I'm kind of a firm believer of that. You wouldn't be even thinking about it if you didn't have it in the back of your mind that you wanted to do it. So I'd say too, like, talk to more people. Once you kind of said why not, and then I started talking to people who were recent grads of OCS or newer officers, I started getting a lot of more different perspectives that made that decision easier.
Okay.
To go ahead and apply. So yeah, start networking, talking to people, especially junior officers that have been through it recently.
That makes sense. Okay, so look, here's the question everybody wants to know. How was it having me as your recruiter?
How was it having me as an applicant? It was awesome. It was awesome. Was I the easiest applicant you've ever had?
You were a knowledgeable applicant, but no, it's funny. I know, like, Mr. Sis gave me a hard time. Well, he thought we made an error. We didn't actually make one.
We did not.
But he loved the fact. He's like, "Are you kidding me? I have you and Ryan Bowman, and there's a discrepancy." So no, it was a unique experience, like working with the recruiter who puts packages in. But then remembering, like, you're an applicant too. You have questions. Like, this is a first for you of actually going through this yourself. So prepping you for, like, the interview, doing all that stuff. I thought it was really unique, being that I know you're knowledgeable about this stuff, but you've never seen it from this side.
I had more questions than I thought I would.
Yeah.
And, like, wanted more advice than I thought I would. I'm like, I got this.
No, so I loved it. Obviously, I don't get the opportunity to do that very often.
Yeah.
So,
but no, having a recruiter that was prior enlisted and now an officer is like walked the walk that I'm trying to walk, was awesome.
Definitely a great experience. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
I guess my thing was like, well, I'm the one who convinced you to put the package in. The least I can do is help you put it. Or
I
see
think
you all
I
the
said
way
that
through.
to you. I was like, you're making me do this. You have to be my recruiter.
Fair enough.